Howdy again, everybody. This is Doc with ThoroughFan, and of course, a lot of us in the fan world are overjoyed that finally some other tracks are going to be opening for live racing, even though it would be nicer if there were spectators and fans allowed. But we obviously all understand that in order to stay safe, we've got to do what we can to help flatten the curve and, prevent this further spread of COVID-19. So we're doing everything we possibly can, obviously wearing masks, keeping ourselves socially distant. And while it would be nice if we could all be there on the aprons and in the stands cheering those horses on, at least we get to see some more live racing come back, and that is wonderful for an industry that so sorely needs to come back and start running. Of course, there is one state that so far has not gotten the go-ahead to go ahead and run, and that is Pennsylvania, the state that I am in. And there have been multiple pleas put out there from the various organizations, from the Horse Racing Commission itself, to Governor Tom Wolf, and unfortunately he has basically said that until the counties that these racetracks are in move into the green phase, and nobody quite understands what the green phase is yet, that racetracks will not be allowed to run. And this is a personal plea of mine, in addition to the writing that I've done, to Governor Tom Wolf to please reconsider that decision. Horse racing is kind of a community unto itself. And, the backside is a city unto itself. It's kind of a very large extended family. And if there's one thing that horse racing does understand, it is the fact that you have to be very careful with biosecurity. You have to be very careful with disinfection, because if you do have an outbreak of something, it really does destroy racing. And it destroys racing from the fact, in most cases, that it makes the horses sick and they can't run, and it affects field size and all of that. However, Governor, I just want you to understand that these people do know what they need to do, and they've been doing it. And on the racetracks where, at least they've been allowed to stay on the backside and continue training and continue caring for these horses day in and day out, they've shown that they are able to do it. And in fact, really, in my mind, and in a lot of other minds, when you're looking at what the green phase is, the backsides of racetracks really are in the green phase. They haven't had any evidence of COVID infections. They haven't had any evidence of coronavirus spread, and they've been doing everything the right way. So there's really no reason why these tracks should not be allowed to open up. I know that you have said that racing kind of equates to entertainment, and so looking at casinos and sports venues and things like that. And I really hope that you're able to understand it's not the same. Racing is very unique in the fact that it can run its sport without fans in attendance. We don't want that to happen, but for the livelihood of the sport, that can happen. And that is what has been happening around the country very successfully with very little consequence, if no consequence. These tracks have set up protocols that are absolutely phenomenal, and Pennsylvania is no exception. They will be sharing those protocols with you, obviously, Governor, and we're hoping you really do reconsider this order of preventing racing from going on until they get into the green phase. They're not the same as other entertainment venues. They can be run differently, and 95% of the people that you need to run racing are already on the backside. They're there day in and day out. They're caring for these horses. They're the grooms, the trainers, the jockeys, the hot walkers. And really, as far as the racing officials that need to come in, well, they're probably going to be totally separate from that population anyway, because they're going to be up in, the areas that are involved in the racetrack announcer, the camera guys, the ones that work the photo finish, the stewards. Everybody is separated. So all the social distancing is there. All the proper protocols are in place, and they have been showing around the country that these protocols work for racing. The other thing, and I know you've been talked to by various industry stakeholders about the huge economic impact that racing has had on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and especially to the agricultural community, and how big and important it is for this agricultural community. I'm not going to harp on that, because you've been told that many, many times. But the bigger concern that a lot of us have as really passionate fans of this sport is this moratorium can only go on so long before the resources are just not there to support these horses. This is not like other businesses or like a casino where you can just turn the lights out and turn the machines off. You can't do that with these living beings. And as I said, this is a community unto itself, and the driving economic force of that community is the purse money that is generated through gambling and through the ability to run these races, so that the owners and the trainers and everybody down the line can take advantage of the purse money that drives this whole racing community going on. So I hope you can understand the importance of the fact that a lot of these trainers and owners, they're running on fumes, and they really don't have a lot left. And the biggest concern that all of us who love animals and love these horses and love this sport is that there is just going to all of a sudden be this mass influx of horses into trying to get them into rescue facilities, of which I help out with a couple of them, or just abandoning them outright because they can't afford to care for them anymore. And that is something that nobody in racing, nobody in the Commonwealth, nobody who's a human wants to see this happen to these horses. So you hold the key, Governor Wolf, to being able to open this sport up, to allow it to run, to allow these horses to do what they were bred to do in a very safe, a very controlled, and an outstanding environment. And racing understands this, and that's why they have put together these protocols that are really gold standard, top of the line, better than you will probably see in any other sports entity or any other entertainment entity. So we are really asking you again, and I personally am pleading to you and anybody who sees this video to please contact the governor's office, Pennsylvania, and ask him to reconsider his decision to open racing now. There is not a lot of time left for these horses. There is not a lot of time left for the horsemen there before true irreparable damage is done to the industry in Pennsylvania. And so again, as a huge fan of the sport, and anybody who follows me knows this, Governor, and you can ask anybody on the Racing Commission, there has probably been no greater critic of some of the policies and procedures that go on in racing in Pennsylvania than myself, aside from the fringe groups that just want racing totally abolished. Anytime I speak at a Pennsylvania Horse Racing Commission meeting, I emphasize the fact that things do need to change and that we need to start putting the horse first. We need to start doing everything with the idea that the horse comes first. And I am very pleased to see that some of those changes are happening, and they're happening very positively, and they are making a difference in this sport. If we let this moratorium, or I should say if you let this moratorium go on for a longer period of time, those reforms may not take place, and those reforms may not be able to be enacted. All of this is for the betterment of the horse and for the industry as a whole, and for the entire set of businesses that have been deemed essential under your rules and are needed to basically survive. And so again, what I'm doing is I'm just asking anybody who really has the desire and the passionate fans that we do here at Thoroughfan, and the passion that a lot of us have for the racing industry in general, to please contact Governor Wolf and please provide the education that hopefully his office needs to understand that you cannot lump racing in with these other entertainment entities that he has done and try to open them all at once under the green phase. Racing, again, as far as we're concerned, is already in the green phase because they know what to do. They've been doing it and they've been showing it works. And you are seeing this in tracks that are being allowed to open all over the country now with these proper protocols in place. So again, this is Doc from Thoroughfan. Again, just kind of breaking away from some of the stuff that I normally talk about to put a plea to all the fans out there to please contact the governor's office. And again, a plea directly to you, Governor Tom Wolf of Pennsylvania, to please reconsider your decision to hold the opening of these tracks until these counties go into the green phase. I know you are being bombarded by a ton of different industries all asking you to open at the same time, and I realize that nobody would probably want to be in the position that you're in, but please, for the sake of so many different industries, so many different businesses, and obviously first and foremost for the horses, to let them do what they are born and bred to do, please consider reopening Pennsylvania racetracks under these proper protocols. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well it works and how much money is generated through handle, and how much of that money that can be taxed is then put through to the state as well, at a time when the state probably needs it a lot. So this is Doc from Thoroughfan. Again, please, Governor Wolf, reopen Pennsylvania horse tracks now. And anybody out there who wants to write the governor, please do so. You can find the contact info at the end of this video, or just jumping onto the governor's office website. And let's do this, PA. Let's get a movement going, and let's get a lot of pressure going to show that we truly want what is best for the racehorses in PA, for the industry in PA, and for the fans of PA. So this is Doc for Thoroughfan, and as always, for any information involving this racing industry that involves fans or needs to have fans more involved, there is only one place to turn, and that is right here at Thoroughfan.